Welcome my fellow conquerors to the first general guide of this series. I say first, however technically it's the second. The first was just showing you how to access Conquerors Blade, but I hope you found it useful. In this video I will help guide you through creating your character, deciding your hero class and which units to aim for when starting out your campaign in Conquerors Blade. This is essentially the beginning of our beginner's guide. I really hope you find this guide helpful, and without further ado, let's get on with it. Firstly, I want to point out that the game actually provides a very good overview of the gameplay if you do all of the tutorials. If you're a new player, take the time to do them. They will introduce you to unit control, unit recruiting, basic crafting, hero play. They also provide some decent rewards, including a few personal history books on your way to level 60. So make use of them to experiment with different stat distributions and weapon types. Don't worry about making mistakes on the early stages of the game, it's all about learning the game. However, I'm hoping that this guide will reduce the number of mistakes you make in your early stages. After you've downloaded, installed and logged into the game, you can set to with creating your character. At the start you get to choose whether you want your character to be male or female. Choosing the sex of your character can affect your gameplay slightly. No major significance, but when you decide on your main class, you may have wished to have known this information beforehand. For certain classes, when dodging, the female character does full flip, while the male character just seems to roll or step to the side. In my opinion, you should choose a female character for dual blades, bow and musket, due to their evasive skill abilities. Now at this time in the game you don't really know what class you want to be, so it can be quite difficult to pick. Don't worry though, you can change this by paying real money to get a character reset and change the sex of your character. But to be honest, I would just recommend on choosing a female character if you think you'll play either dual blades, bow or musket. As you can see, you get a mix of presets which allows you to set yourself apart from your friends. Changing the aesthetics of your character doesn't have any impact on your gaming experience. Personally, I feel that it's not worth investing time into the aesthetics of the character, as you tend to do with other MMOs. Now it's time to pick a weapon for your hero. So which one? Well, now we've created our character, the game sends us into this mini tutorial, in which we are sent to a training area where we can test out the weapons. Go to the weapon rack and select a weapon. You then get to test it out following the on-screen instructions or guide. This is only basic training, so you can get a feel for the weapon style and the basic skills it has to offer. As you can see, each weapon has 4 skills you can use throughout a battle. You can change and upgrade the skills through the character screen. Each weapon relates to a hero class, light, medium and heavy, which in turn correlates to your armour. I advise you to play around with all of the classes. Sadly, what ultimately determines a class is their ultimate, a skill which will take a lot of time to get, unless you spam AI games for mastery points. If you want to play a tanky class, go for longsword, short sword, poleaxe or maul. With the longsword you can dominate melee battles with a brutal combination that balances offensive and defensive capabilities. The idea of longsword players is to keep your team alive with their healing abilities, while using crowd control to help make offensive plays. The short sword, which is a favourite with infantry, can be a very handy hero weapon. Using the short sword's abilities, you can wade into war and disrupt enemy activity with great effect. Certainly a weapon to consider if you like getting stuck into action. Poleaxes provide a fearsome combination of reach, power and mass. These were favoured by heavy infantry, As a hero weapon, you can use it to your advantage. Use abilities for crowd control and hero killing. The maul is a heavy weapon which can effectively smash heavy armour. The huge blunt force can easily destroy the toughest armours and shields, making men the champions of the front line. If you want to kill units from afar, play longbow. The bow is a powerful ranged hunting weapon used by archers. As a hero, you can use this as a huge advantage. Draw back the string and let fly a volley that will put a serious dent in enemy morale, and a few holes in their armour too. Just remember to keep your distance from enemy heroes. If you want to kill heroes easily, play dual blade, musket or shortbow. Give your enemies twice as much trouble. Suitable for assassins and infiltrators, use the dual blades to deliver an ambidextrous assault that will leave enemies flailing. The musket is a heavy matchlock firearm and commands respect for their lethality. The shortbow is less cumbersome and tiring than the regular bow, and is best suited for close range combat and swift but sure attacks. All three of these weapons can cause havoc for enemy heroes. If you want more all-round classes, then play Spear, Glaive or Nadachi. The spear keeps enemies at a relatively safe distance thanks to the spear's long reach and sharp deterrent. It's effective against both cavalry and infantry units. Skilled warriors can take on multiple enemies at once too. Don't forget to use the hero's skill whilst on a horse, it's a huge damage dealer. The glaive is favoured for its considerable stopping power. It is particularly effective against light armoured infantry, but can certainly pack a punch in the hero killing department. With the use of knockdown abilities, knocking down heroes and shield units, you can help your team to success. Nadachi is essentially referred to as the meat grinder, where it specialises in taking down a massive number of troops. Due to its inherent lifesteal ability, it grants you the opportunity to stick to a fight and continuously mow down enemy troops. There's a lot to take in, I know, so don't panic if you think you've selected the wrong weapon or hero class for your game style, once you've played a bit more. You can easily change this at any time. You'll have to unlock the weapon skill tree before being able to use the weapon, but it only costs like 5 mastery points, which you can get in just a couple of battles. Pre-level 30 you won't have to worry about what armour to use, just use whatever you find. After that you'll want to start using the blue weapon and armour schematics to craft your rogue, carnifex or guardsman sets. Each set has additional stats which greatly improves your abilities. As you can see, you get additional stats for 2 pieces of the same armour set and more stats for 4 pieces of the same set. You can chop and change or mix armour sets if you want. I think we'll discuss this in more detail in a specific armour guide. You can use purple schematic armour, however the drops are extremely rare, which means only a few people on each server use them. If you manage to get one, it's probably worth selling it on at the auction for silver or crafting a weapon rather than armour. Since you're still in the stage of figuring out which class you'd like, I would advise you to put points into every attribute equally. So at level 60 you would be 35 strength, 35 agility, 35 armour and 35 toughness. Once you know which class you want as your main, then you can reset the points using the attributes reset book. You only get a few attribute point resets books from the game, so spend them wisely. If you want more, you'll have to pay real money to get them. We'll do a series of hero guides in which we will cover what attribute point to use for each weapon. I can already imagine what you're thinking about. How many attributes points do you get? So to clarify, you get 17 default attribute points in each attribute. You can't change this, that's standard default, done. As you level, you gain more attribute points to spend freely, maxing out at 72 extra points at level 60. Therefore, the maximum amount of attribute points you can have in one stat is 89. Not counting any extra points from armour and weapons. For example, if I go to my clan effect set, I get additional attribute points, but as you saw, my rogue set doesn't. We're going to focus on units that you can use now and for the foreseeable future in the game. These units will help you to great success and will remain powerful even later in the game. You want to build at least 4 sets, ideally 5 sets of serfs, and get them all leveled up to level 7. Serfs are the only units that give you a bonus when gathering in the open world, which can save you tons of bronze. They make your life easier gathering for unit kits or exotics to sell on the market for silver. These may seem weak units, but for only 40 leadership, they are certainly a good unit to put into your warband if you only have 40 or 50 leadership points left. They get a charge once leveled up properly, which makes them decent adversaries in battle. This unit is very beneficial because they have no unit kits, which means you will never need to spend bronze to repair them. Pipe Militia can be considered the most powerful tier 2 melee unit and still considered powerful against higher tiered units. Their power should not be underestimated. Pipe Militia is a very strong unit once maxed and a staple in many max level players' loadout. You should aim to get these maxed first. These should be your first choice when getting a higher tier unit. The benefits of Spear Sergeants is never ending, especially for low level players. Spear Sergeants will enable you to complete expeditions and rival counts with minimal to no unit losses. They are strong units and fairly cheap to get unlocked with honour, so try to get them as soon as possible. If you want to go one step further, unlock the additional nodes on the unit tree. This will cost quite a lot of honour, but definitely worth it. A cheap seasonal unit can be extraordinarily strong, without you needing to spend a lot of time or resources to get them. By pressing F5 you open the seasonal panel. From there you can select unit challenges. Here you will see the current unit challenge you have selected, and by going to this menu you can choose to go back to all of the past challenges. Please note that you can only complete challenges for one season at a time. However, you can keep switching between the challenges. As a beginner, I advise you to aim for the Namkan Archers, which are a Season 2 unit, and Condottieri Guards, which are a Season 3 unit. Each of these unit challenges are quite easy to complete, so you shouldn't have any trouble getting these units quickly. Of course, after a certain point you want to start working towards your endgame units, and I'll cover these more in depth in a series of unit guides, so I won't discuss them in this video. However, for those interested in seeing which units to aim for later on in your game experience, I'll leave these units running in the background, so you can make a list of what to aim for. I must admit it's been quite interesting for me to go back to the start of the game again. I've been playing the game for a year now and will continue to play as much as possible until I lose interest, which don't think will happen until I have nothing to do in the game. And boy have I got plenty to do. I hope you've enjoyed this short guide. If you have, then please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you get notifications when we release our next video. Do you agree with everything we've said in this video? Let us know your feedback in the comments. Remember, be strong when you are weak, be brave when you are scared, be humble when victorious. I'll see you on the battlefield.